Hi, I'm Nikki from educatingnow.com. Thank you for joining me for this vlog on combining math content concepts. So we do a really great job of this in a lot of our other subject areas, but we do tend to struggle with this in math, and we teach things very linearly. And the problem with that is if we don't ever revisit concepts that we've taught throughout the year, the chances of students retaining their learning is pretty slim. So we want to make sure we give them lots of practice when they first are introduced to a concept, but then we also want to do what's called distributed practice, which means that we give them practice spaced out over time. So one of the ways you can do that is through using number talks, daily number talks. They're also great for developing strategies. And if you have no idea what a number talk is, check out my other vlog on number talks because they are a fantastic daily practice. Some teachers also allot one block a week or a part of a block a week to revisiting past concepts. So any concepts that they've taught in that school year. And that's another way to bring it back into the student's mind. And the other thing we really want to do, and this is what this vlog is really all about, is help them to make the connections. So we know that so many concepts in math are connected. It's all about relationships and connections, but we need to help students see those connections and teach them explicitly. So you will see some documents with this vlog for grades 4 through 8. I'm still working on the K through 3 ones that are some suggestions on how you can combine some of the content areas in those grade levels. And by no means is this list exhaustive. And in fact, if you have some other combinations that you've done or heard about, please add it to the comments so that the rest of the people who are reading this or watching this have a chance to see your ideas as well. So here's an example. Area and multiplication. So when we're teaching area, we'd use grids or blocks and have students actually find areas of the rectangles. That's also a way to look at multiplication as an array. And when we get into multiplying multi-digit numbers, we use an area model. So again, we're revisiting area each time we do multiplication when we use that model. And students are seeing both area and multiplication when they're visiting each of those content areas. So when they're in the measurement unit or whatever they're doing there, they'll likely be looking at perimeter and area, but multiplication is tucked into that. And then again, when you are working on multiplying multi-digit numbers, we're using an area model. So now we're revisiting area. Perimeter is also a great way to spend time working with adding, especially in the older grades, like grades 4 and above, when we're looking at adding and subtracting decimal numbers. So there's nothing to say that you can't be looking at different shapes that have some tenths or hundredths in their length measurements, and students are now going to practice finding the perimeter, which actually involves them finding adding up decimal numbers. So those are some ways to combine. Fractions and probability are also a lovely match because we represent probability as fractions. So those two marry together nicely. Rates, if you're teaching grade 7 and 8, rates and linear equations, graphing, table of values, all of those things are the same thing. So you can take a rate, you could turn it into a linear equation, which you could turn it into a graph and using a table first if you wanted, but they're all connected. So we want to just really highlight those connections, and especially that one in grade 7 and 8, the rate and linear equations, it's a good chunk of the curriculum. So if we can link all of those concepts together, it's going to help our students to really understand those connections and the concepts a whole lot better. So check out the PDFs for grades 4 through 8 on some ideas that I've come up with on how you can combine. I've tried most of these out. Some were suggested to me. And again, please, if you have some other connections that you have tried, put them in the comment section so that we can generate a better list. And when you are planning your math units or your lesson or your yearly plan, just keep in the forefront of your mind this whole idea of connecting things together, because math is all about relationships and connections, as well as revisiting topics over time. And if you are super stumped with this because you don't really know, sometimes we don't know how these things connect until we start developing our own conceptual understanding of math better. Please reach out, ask me. You can email me, nikki@educatingnow.com, or write in the comments. And we are a community of teacher learners, and I'm sure between the group of us, we can come up with some solutions or answer your questions. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.